A inteligência artificial está a mudar as nossas vidas e a música faz parte das nossas vidas. Devido a um imprevisto de última hora, os caretos não podem marcar presença. Mas damos as boas-vindas a Bruno Mota, um músico e produtor nacional por detrás dos grandes hits que todos nós ouvimos e que aceitou o desafio de última hora para dar aqui um boost ao entretenimento.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invite. Actually, cadets are my friends, so it's funny that I could replace them. My name is Bruno Mota, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Vertat. And probably, as some of you already know, this is an AI generator within the music industry. So I invite anyone to scan the QR code. I don't mind being here talking and you trying to make sounds while I talk. Have fun, no worries. I need to explain a little bit what I've been doing because my job is not always an easy job for everyone to understand. So I'm a music producer. For the past 15 years, I've worked with a lot of major artists in Portugal and outside of Portugal. I was fortunate enough to be signed with Sony Music worldwide and managed to work with artists like Pusha T, which is very big in the US, Sebastian Yacho is very, very big, for example, in the Latin market, and managed to even get songs in movies that probably a lot of you saw, like Venom movie, in TV series for HBO, Netflix, like Ballers, Elite. So I was very fortunate, and this is a very hard industry to navigate. Just for reference, for example, Spotify alone gets over 150,000 songs per day. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of music out there. Great names, however, probably a lot of you are thinking, what does a music producer does? I had to explain to my mother 15 years ago, because she had no idea and she thought it was a terrible idea. Turns out it was okay. Basically, I would say it's the same thing as a project manager. I'm sure some of you here work as project manager, but it's basically the same thing, but our product is music. And we are hired by the record labels or the artist himself, and what we need to do is to actually create the song from scratch and make it ready for the market. And I'm saying about hiring the team to make the song, so songwriters, hiring musicians, create the correct instrumentation. It's still a lot of work, but it's very fun to do. A quick story about how you can do all of this process. I was hired by Sony Music in India to go to Mumbai for a writing camp. And I was there for a week, working with a lot of big artists in India. Of course, I had no idea what to do there, because I didn't know the culture. I had no idea what the sound was like, nothing. So basically what happened is that they hired us because I think they hired us because we were good, but I'm not sure. But one thing they said is the scope of the project, they wanted something with the Portuguese roots. So, okay, we were happy about that, but still, what's the Portuguese roots? And we understood the Portuguese roots is the sadness. We make a lot of sad music, very melancholic, very fado. So basically, for the Portuguese in the room, is saudade. It's a feeling that the other countries are struggling to understand and to put it into music. So that was one of the reasons why we went to Mumbai, and we were hired to be in a writing camp. A writing camp, basically, we have to make a song, ready to market the song. It needs to be, the songwriting needs to be there, and the song needs to be perfect in just 4 hours. So we have 4 hours in the morning to make the song, and then 4 hours in the afternoon to make a second song. So it's a big pressure sometimes. One of the things that happened in that camp is that they wanted saudade, so they wanted the Portuguese feeling. And it was cool because I'm Portuguese, but I noticed that I can't play a Portuguese guitar. I don't own a Portuguese guitar. So if they asked for that, it was impossible. I couldn't deliver that. Either me or my colleagues, it was impossible. So I need to explain you the process of a music producer in terms of when we can't have that sound, we jump into sound libraries, and we have a lot of libraries. And those libraries have those sounds when we can't hire a musician or play it ourselves. So we have tools with, I don't even know, like millions or billions of sounds, which we can use directly in our songs. So, of course, when we want, for example, a thunderstorm, we don't go outside in the rain and record with an iPhone a thunderstorm. That would be stupid nowadays. We could die. And besides that, these sample libraries already have that, so we can use that. It seems cool because the process started to be really fast in terms of music production. However, if they asked for a Portuguese guitar and I jumped into that sample library and get a Portuguese guitar, and then you would jump into it and get the same Portuguese guitar, because there are not a lot, and another user would get the same Portuguese guitar, that basically would mean that everyone would use the same sound. So if you are wondering, that's basically one of the biggest reasons why when you are driving and you are switching radios and thinking, why does this all sound the same? It's because we, music producers, use basically the same sounds. So I'm part of that problem, and it's our fault why sometimes you get frustrated. So if the sound is always the same, you don't get evolution, because the music producer needs to be really fast at doing his job. So when I noticed that, that was one of the biggest reasons that I assembled a team and co-founded Vertat. One of the main issues was that we always needed to have speed, and we needed to deliver the correct sound to make the song. So I'm going to introduce you to the platform. So it's a very simple platform. And like I said, the music producers, the workflow, it's based on going into sample libraries like this, and we developed first the same workflow that the music producers are used to. They go into sample libraries, they can see the sounds. Each sound, they have tags like the seconds, the key, the BPM. It's basically have a lot of tags that we can find the sample easily. So I'm talking about an industry where nowadays kids, for example, 15-year-old kids that know how to make hip-hop beats, they can make, like, I'm not joking, 50 songs in a day. It's insane. They get into a room and they do a bunch of songs, and some of them release it to Spotify, others send it to artists. But the thing is, the music industry is always flowing and is very prone to jump into any technology. As long as it helps on the workflow, and as long as it makes everybody have fun in the process, everybody jumps on it. So we kept the same user experience and kind of the same user interface as the other libraries. So this is a library as basically it's almost as equal as any library out there in the market. However, all of the sounds are AI generated. So there are no humans in this platform. I'm going to show you 2 or 3 sounds just for you to see. So, pretty good guitar. So yeah, these are the most downloaded sounds on our platform. So music producers use these sounds a lot. Again, This doesn't solve the problem of everything sounding the same. Although I'm using AI, it doesn't solve the problem because it's the same problem. Everybody can use this, so everything will sound the same. It's not unique. However, this can be turned easily into a community marketplace because we have one feature that users can generate their own sounds. So with this feature, any user can generate wherever he wants. So for example, the biggest music genre in the world at the moment is hip-hop. So they want to generate very specific samples to make their songs. And they get, when they start, for example, with the drums, once they get the drums right, they keep changing the harmonic parts. So they can have a piano, and if they don't like the piano, they throw it off and get a guitar. If they don't like it, they jump into other things. So they are always making this. And with that in mind, they are kind of limited to what samples exist and what they can do. So we started to have the library open to all the users, and now we open this feature. And with this feature, they can write not just whatever they want, but very specific things for very specific parts of the song and generate it. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that AI is a technology that it's growing. It's in the early stages. I heard people in the previous panel talking about the problem with virtual assistants. It's very frustrating. I'm sure a lot of you use ChatGPT. It gets wrong a lot of the times. So AI, it's in the early stages, and especially in music, honestly, it's growing very, very fast, and we got the best model in the moment. We use the best model in the world. So we are very advanced in terms of all the competition, which is amazing for us, and we did all of this based in Portugal. So, but all of this to say that I can write whatever I want and still get the wrong sound. So let's start, for example, with the great example of the kid in the rain with the iPhone trying to catch a thunderstorm sound. Instead of him being out there in the rain getting a cold, let's jump here and we can write thunderstorm sound in a rainy night, for example. We insert here the seconds. And now, hopefully it's not giving us like a dog barking or something, but there you go. It's actually a thunderstorm sound in a rainy night. And you can generate many times. It's always different. It's never the same sound. So for sound designers, for example, in content creators, influencers, they sometimes need specific sounds. This is a very great tool for them to use and generate very specific sounds for specific parts of the video. Or the main target that we have is music producers. This is very helpful for them. Since we're talking about tourism, let's try, and I told you that Indian story with Sony, let's try a Portuguese guitar with sad melodies. Now I'm not so confident because this is very niche example, but let's see what it does. Let's see. It's not that bad, but the more we write and the more we ask, the better it gets. So, for example, the license that we trained, I've noticed after Tanya called me to be here today, I've noticed that I didn't train any Portuguese music into the AI model. So how am I going to show AI sounds that are based on Portugal? So I had to train really fast during the night, and it started to get better and better. So you have a history of all the sounds that I've been generating since yesterday, basically. And for example, it started like this, kind of Bad. This is way better. So as you can see, the more you feed the model, the better it gets. So the more people use it, the better positive results we can get. So, and this is not a platform that it can be stuck for music producers at the moment. You have platforms that you can actually create the full song, but our target is to help creators create their song. So most of the times people don't know what they want, so they can't go and write a prompt. It's hard because we never know what we want. So yeah, this is basically what you can do. It's very helpful for creators. I would like to see if somebody in a room would love to write a prompt here and test something. Could be like unicorn wings flying, something like that. If anyone wants to say a prompt, I can write it for you. Anyone? No? Okay, no problem. I invite you all still to scan the QR code, and probably in the comfort of your home, it's easier for you to write a prompt, be more creative, and have fun. Probably some of you have younger kids that want to try and make some beats for their friends to rap on it, whatever. This is a very helpful tool. And it speeds up the process even for a beginner in the music industry. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for having me.